Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I thought I'd kick off the new year with a video about getting organised in uni. My New Year's resolution last year was to keep organised and to keep my life on track, and I think I did well. I don't have that New Year's resolution this year, but maybe some of you do. So I thought I would give you my tips of how I stay organised in uni. I'm in my final year of uni now, and I've been in uni for almost 3 years. So I'd like to think that I've got used to it and got used to kind of organising everything. So hopefully I can give you some helpful tips. Yeah, here we go. Probably the most important thing that I do in keeping organised is keeping a diary. Obviously the new year is a great time to start a diary if you don't keep one already. In my diary I keep deadlines, things that I'm doing with work, uni work, lectures, everything, personal things. I keep everything in my diary, and I would really suggest, if you don't already, it is a great way to keep on track. It just makes me very aware of what's coming up. So here is my diary, which basically stores everything that I do in my life. This diary is from Paperchase. You can buy the inserts each year, so you keep the actual diary itself. So I'll start with how I organise with lectures. So the 8th of January is week 27, and I found that out from Blackboard, and what I've done basically is gone through all of my weeks up until I finish uni, and I've basically just written at the top there the week that it is, so that I can turn to it, know straight away which week it is. Knowing the week, then you can look at your timetable and insert the lectures that you might have. So I will put the lectures that I'm in for, despite the fact that they will sometimes change, but as long as you just keep on keep kind of checking online, you'll stay up to date with it. And the days don't usually change online, it's usually just the times or the rooms that they're in. It's really important for me to write in the lectures that I've got, so that I know, like I said, when I'm booking work in advance or anything, if I'm booking a holiday, I know when I'm free. Okay, so another great thing about this diary is these little to-do lists that you can buy to insert in them. This is a to-do list for my upcoming assignments. So I've got 3 assignments on the go, and I've basically broken them down into small steps and ways that I can complete them. Sometimes when you've got so much to do, it can be overwhelming, but I find if you just break it down, then it's easier, and it becomes like an easier task to do. So for example, one of the assignments I've put reading is the first thing I need to do, and getting quotes. Then I need to outline and draft my assignment, and then lastly complete the first draft. And then obviously when I've done that, I can tick them off. I do these to-do lists not just for work, for anything, you know, if I'm doing like a personal project or if I'm going travelling, I will write down everything that I need to do so that I can kind of stay organised beforehand. Another thing you might realise on this page are these sticky notes. This diary comes with the little pockets there, so I will include sticky notes in advance of things that I need to do, and they're just really easy ways to organise what is kind of going on. So if I turn to next week, for example, I've got an assignment due on the Thursday, and then I've already written in to-do lists for the next day, which is the Friday, of what I want to do kind of in for another assignment. These little to-do lists are great so that you can just stay on track of things. When I plan things in advance and I kind of organise and plan small steps in completing the tasks, I feel a lot more organised, and it just really works for me. Also, last thing that I do in my diary is these little yellow tabs, and you can buy these to go in the diary like these, and all of the yellow tabs at the top are the deadlines that I've got coming up. So this is a very stressful week for me. 26th of January, I've got a written assignment and also a presentation, but I just like having these tabs so that I can just know kind of in advance what I need to do and when I need to do them. Okay, my next tip for staying organised is taking notes. Obviously you should be taking notes in lectures, but the notes that you do take, it's important to keep organised. There are 2 ways to take notes. You can manually take notes or you can do it digitally. I personally prefer taking them manually. I used to take my notes on an iPad, but I would just like forget to charge it and things like that, or the internet might stop working. So I just find handwriting the notes is a lot more reliable, but you know, it is whatever works for you. So if you were to take your notes digitally, you could take in an iPad or a laptop to lectures. If you have an iPad, I would suggest buying a case which is, it basically turns your iPad into a laptop. So it kind of comes with a case to go on the actual tablet itself, and then it has like a keyboard attached to it, and then you just connect it through Bluetooth, and you can just type away, and it's a lot quicker than kind of tapping on the screen. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. So when I used to take the notes digitally, I used to take my notes on Google Docs, and in case you don't know, every USW student is able to access Google Apps, which is Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Slides, Google Sheets, everything. I discovered this, I think one of my lecturers told me about it about 2 years ago, and I'm like, it is my life. Google is a lifesaver. You can put on your Drive any pictures that you want. I would suggest putting them on a personal account, obviously not on your student account. You can save multiple, like endless pictures, and I actually back up all of my like pictures from my phone on my Google Drive. But you can also use Google Docs, which is great if you've got an iPad, because whereas with Word you have to kind of go on a computer and you can only access it through a USB stick, or in my experience maybe they've updated it, but that's where it was with me when I used to use it. With Google Docs, however, you can download the app on any device, on any computer, and you can access all of the documents wherever you are basically, and then you can organise those notes on Google Drive, and I'd put them into modules and then put them into different subjects. So for example, curriculum studies, which is one module that we do, I'd have a curriculum studies folder, and then I'd kind of break it down again into maths, English or Welsh, and the notes would be in each of those folders. So that's one way to do it if you do take it digitally. Taking it manually is a bit different. It is slower really, but I prefer it. In general, my points would be when taking notes to kind of shorthand. If you are writing, you can kind of shorten words, and it just means you can write more quickly, and don't copy from the PowerPoint. It's pointless, you're wasting your time doing that. You can just refer back to them later. And on that note as well, I would suggest always, no matter if you take them digitally or manually, always save the PowerPoints so you can refer back to them. It's just very quick and very easy. I know some people will print off the PowerPoints so that they can write directly next to them in the lecture. I'm not that organised, but that is another option for you if you wanted to do that. Here is my file which I use to organise all of my lecture notes. It is a lever arch file which you can buy from most supermarkets, but they are great because there's plenty of space for notes in here. At the start I have a refill pad, which is basically just blank A4 paper. You can write straight on it, rip it out and insert it into the correct file divider. I've organised my file using these file dividers, which you can just buy from any supermarket, and I'm not sure if you can see, but I've just organised them by module. So the first section is just for general course information, potentially module leaders, dates of assignments, things like that, and then each module is organised into lecture notes and then assignment information. Lecture notes might be print-offs of a PowerPoint, or obviously handwritten notes from the lecture. It might be resources that they've given out. And then assignment information will be, sometimes they'll do a lecture on like the ways to write the assignment, so I'll include those notes in this section, or I always include my actual written kind of finished assignment and the feedback that I get for it. And that's just generic kind of organisation. I found that works best for me. I haven't actually gotten any notes for this year because I've been on placement most of the time, but the best way to write notes is to include a date, the kind of title of the lecture, and also the module. And then other than that, I would just say if you were taking notes, it's really important to continue writing, you know, as they're talking, taking the notes, and that's basically it. If you are to take your notes digitally, you might not want to print them off, but I know when I was taking digital notes, I was still getting handouts and I needed to organise those into a file. So you still might need to keep an actual physical folder. But if you do take digital notes, you can obviously just organise your notes into a file on your Google Docs. So that is how I organise my lecture notes. And lastly, I think the most important thing about staying organised in uni is being proactive with assignments and with deadlines. If you have not been told when your deadlines are, I would totally suggest that you look on Blackboard and at your module and course handbooks, because they always include the deadlines that you have to kind of adhere to, and write them in your diary so that you know in advance that you've got to do this work. So for example, you might, if you're going on holidays or if you are busy, somebody's birthday or something, if you know that you've got an assignment due next week and this is like a month in advance and you can see that you are going to be busy before that deadline, you can then plan to start it earlier. I would totally suggest that you look in advance at your deadlines, because there's really nothing worse than being caught off guard and like forgetting that you've got something to do and then only having a few days to do it, and then you don't do your best when you rush things. I think that's everything. There was a lot to cover. I hope I haven't kind of bored you. Hopefully you found it helpful. I wish I kind of seen a video like this when I was starting university. I kind of just had to make do with, you know, and just get on with it. If you are an unorganised person or if you're just looking for a bit of help, hopefully this can help you. And if you have any suggestions or anything you need to, you know, have answered, leave them in the comments below. We'll try and get back to you as quick as we can. Make sure you follow our Instagram and our Twitter, which is at USW Vloggers. We've got some exciting content coming up. I'm actually heading to Prague at the end of this month, which I'm extremely excited about. I'm going to be there for a month doing teaching placement. Obviously I need to film that. I'm going to be vlogging it, so keep your eyes peeled for that vlog, because I'm like ridiculously excited for it and I hope you guys are too. So thank you for watching. Like I said, I hope I haven't bored you. Hopefully you've kind of gone away with something that you'll use, or something that is going to be handy to you. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye!